Hello everybody, welcome to this video. Here I'm sat with Mychael Shane and just having a quick question and answer, basically what you do. So can you first describe to our viewers what you do exactly?
Well, they title what I do as a trance physical phenomena medium, and that is where an individual is used to bring through proof of life after death, occasional materialization of a spirit or an apportation of an object of some sort coming from what appears to be out of nowhere when it really actually comes from somewhere.
How long have you been doing this work?
Well, I've known about it since my birth, and was going to be doing this my whole life after I got out of school. But, you know, plans tend to change.
Yeah.
And so I've only been doing this for about 30 years.
Okay, great. What is physical mediumship from your understanding?
Well, I feel it's a tool to educate people that this is only a stop station of education. It's kind of going to college and then you move on and you go on. And I feel that's what mediumship is to give people that knowledge and understanding that there's more out there than what we perceive.
Totally. Interesting. What is an apport, or what is an apportation?
It's apport is a modality of passing through space and time interdimensionally. Transportation, you know, like that movie The Fly,
Yeah.
where they put the dude here and then that's through space and time in the physical. An apportation is moving of object underneath that, through where there is no space and time. And so an object such as a gemstone can be transformed into a energy that passes through, and then once it hits the third dimension, it solidifies.
Interesting. Why are apports important?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're important. I would say that they are a tool to give people an interest in being educated about all of these things. It's kind of like the worm on the hook,
Yeah.
you know. But it does come with programming, because you can program energies and information in a gemstone for healing, for knowledge, or just to give somebody a gift from a loved one that's passed away.
Okay. And how do the apports come through you?
This earth is filled with vortexes.
Okay.
Most you cannot see with the naked eye. You can see them through not infrared, but thermal imaging.
Okay.
You could be in a room like this. You won't see it, but then you turn off all the lights where there's no spectrum that comes in, and you can turn on a black light, and then you could see hues of it. But it doesn't just stop in space. Vortexes will also appear in an individual. That is not a natural process. It's a process that is agreed upon by you with your master teachers who want to direct a form of alchemy, and they open up certain areas of the body to show that the physical body isn't really a reality. It's more of an illusion.
Yeah, totally. How do you go into trance, and how long does it take?
Well, unlike my daughter, who went into trance the first time she did it, my first attempt was in 1992. And it wasn't anything, nothing happened. And I kind of got, you know, for over a year, I was, you know, quite frustrated. But it took about 1.5 years to 2 years to go into true, complete trance, where you step aside and you don't know what's going on and your consciousness is not interfering with the message. But I would say that it is not an easy process, you know, and that's a whole nother story. You have to just surrender yourself.
Totally. Where do you go during trance?
2 different places,
Yeah.
or actually 3. Sometimes I'll travel into the past to see, lifetimes I've been in, things of that nature. Going into the future isn't anything that you can do for yourself, because then your emotions do interfere with what you see. It's always best to do it with someone you don't know, and the best readings that I've ever given were from complete strangers. So,
Yeah, totally.
so the second place is a place called Shambhala, which exists as a physical and an etheric interdimensional structure built by the design of Sanat Kumara, and it exists in the Himalayan mountains. You can actually go there, but you got to be allowed past the gate. It's a pretty horrendous trek, so it'd be kind of a bummer to get up there and then be told you can't come in. But I've been in there astrally, which when you're in your astral body, you're not connected to all the trials and tribulations and emotions of the physical body, so they let you come in so it doesn't taint the energy there. And you can educate yourself there. You can get healed from certain things that doesn't require karmic resolution. And then the first place, and then the third place I go is what I call my happy place. And that's when you go out into the trance. There's a spectrum of energy, and I usually dub that as the silver cord. And you travel through the silver cord. When you get to the other side, and this is similar to dying, you see nothing but darkness. But in the darkness, it's light. So you build your own environment out of the sphere of the the sphere of the void. And I build something like a Hawaiian tropical forest with a waterfall, with a kind of a pool. There's a rock out there. There's all kinds of different kind of animals and stuff, and very similar to the pool of life that Buddha found in the Himalaya mountains when he was on his trek for enlightenment.
Right, really interesting. Can you describe what Bennett Reading is?
That goes back quite a ways. Magicians tend to try to copy it.
Okay.
Anybody could do it as a trick. Not very many people can do it as it being real, because a trick, the message that comes through will most of the time not necessarily be accurate. But when it's not a trick, is based on percentages of things that come true and things that don't. And I've been tested at a 98% success rate.
Right.
But
that's good.
but that's just modern day science. It's I don't think there's ever a wrong or a right answer. It just, tomorrow is a different day.
Yeah, totally. Can you explain what materialization is?
It's where let's just keep it to physical, okay? Let's say you passed away, and you were Jesus, and you ascended and kept your physical body, or not, doesn't matter. The ectoplasm of the medium produces from the body through the spinal cord into the spinal fluid. It comes out of the body in different areas. It's usually chakra areas, and it creates a pool of ectoplasm on the floor. And then up out of that ectoplasm, a body forms. It's not their real body. It is a kind of like a mold of their physical body. And anything made out of ectoplasm is dubbed a pseudopod. Okay, and then that master teacher will then materialize into what we would perceive that they would look like, and go from there, and talk to you and touch you, and it feels like a physical body. When angels materialize, they create a shell of an appearance that you would accept them. But if they were to appear in their natural form, and they don't need ectoplasm to do that, we wouldn't be able to comprehend what it is that we're experiencing. So they come appearing as human beings with gender, with wings.
Yeah.
But they really honestly don't have wings, and they don't have gender or a physical looking body.
Very interesting. So what is ectoplasm?
Ectoplasm is an esoteric energy that comes from from what I understand, through the energies of the soul, as it passes through the chakras and the inner bodies, and then it begins to change its form as it passes into the physical, and it comes in through the base of the skull, down into the spinal cord, into the spinal fluid. Now everybody can produce it.
Right.
Just not everybody can produce enough of it to create phenomena. If you look up Ledbetter's works, and he talks about this substance, but it was Charles Roche who was studying ectoplasm to its nth degree, and he's the one that coined the phrase ectoplasm.
Okay, great. Who are the Ascended Masters?
Ascended Masters, this won't be a short explanation.
Yeah.
But it won't be, I've tried not to keep it too long.
Yeah, sure.
Somewhere around 50,000 years ago, an entity that would be kind of looked upon as similar to Q on Star Trek Next Generation, who could just snap his finger and appear anywhere, at any time. These were explorers that traveled through the known and unknown universes and dimensions. And while here, he noticed that there was a indigenous life form that had what he calls the God spark. Therefore, he knew we had potential and came here to help guide us, giving up his ascension to come here, and then through the what you would call the appreciation or the sacrifice of what he was doing, 143,000 of these beings from his realm followed him. Now, some of those people you'll know as like the Dalai Lama, Gautama Buddha, in this case, the ancient ones like the Hare Krishna, Ganesha, Shiva.
The deities.
Those deities were from there. But someone like Jesus, for instance, who was actually an entity by the name of Sananda, came in, and he's actually part of our human cycle. But you can ascend and be an ascended master by mastering a lifetime. Like, you know, who do you know who's going to be tortured, beaten, nailed up to a piece of wood, and crucified and say, I forgive you? Who do you know that does that?
Sure.
Well, he was able to do that with the trueness of his heart, and therefore he was able to ascend. And when he did, he kept his physical body. I'm writing a book about him, so I'll keep that a secret for now. But an ascended master in simplicity is a being from any vibrational level who ascends, resolving or mastering their life karmic circumstances.
Great.
And those of us don't, keep recycling back into another life.
Very interesting. Do spirit guides want something in return?
No.
No? Okay.
No, you know, this is where we really get into a serious debate in regards to money and charging. I have always felt guilty charging money for people to come in to receive the work. I have people that come to me and says, well, if this is truly from God, you should not be charging for it. And they're absolutely correct. But it was Saint Germain that finally made sense to why we charge. And why I'm answering it this way is because it's a good example. People that come to see my work or to listen to a lecture I'm doing, or have a past life regression or whatever, they're not paying for that or the knowledge. What they're giving you in trade for what you do is your time. Because in the physical level, you cannot replace time. You'll never get that back.
Yeah, it costs time to travel, time to eat, you know, it's your time, it's your energy, right, physically.
Right. And you're away from your family, you're away from whatever things you like to do. You know, I like doing my work sometimes. Other times I get frustrated.
Yeah.
But it's just basically, why I'm saying this is they're not influencing an intention to make you rich. They're there to educate, period. The Ascended Masters, like if you come into a private, let's say, which is a seance setting where you're by yourself and you get a chance to speak to the spirit. If that spirit says to you that you need to go through a series of healings, go see Mychael. If the masters say that, but I'm not the one saying it, then I'm not allowed to charge that person, because their influence is what's causing them to come. But if I say, hey, you know, I perceive you have this going on, come and see me, you know, here's how much it costs. But, or even in a reading, oh, Saint Germain says they want to have a private with you. For that particular point, I wouldn't be able to charge you for that, because they're the ones that's directly requesting it. So they don't use their influence, and they want nothing other than, I guess there is something they want. They want us to be educated of what all this is.
Why is it important for you to be bound and checked before and after going into a seance?
It's not important to me, and it's not important to the masters or the spirits. It's important to the naysayers, though it never does any good. Mm-hmm. There was recently a medium who, at face value, there was a video that came out of this gentleman that appeared, when you look at it, that he was performing a fraudulent seance.
Sure.
But if you really are educated and understand, when spirit, you are a vehicle, you're a tool, and you're giving permission at the higher levels for the spirits to take control of that physical body. So it's very easy for spirit to get you out of your restraints, come into your body, and use it and walk around the room in pitch dark conditions and see and know exactly where they're at, because to them there is no darkness, right? And at first when I saw that video, I thought, oh God, here we go again. But then when I saw the person do his work, I went back with a friend of mine and we looked at the video again, and you could notice that there's areas as he's walking around the room where his body tends to phase in and out. When I saw that, I knew, oh, spirit's in his body. You see? But the people that are sitting in the room that hear this and that and the other thing, and then see the video without being educated, uh-oh, he's a fraud. Saint Germain states, where proof is needed, no proof will suffice. Where proof is not needed, no proof is necessary. And I have proven many times that restraining, searching, strip searching, whatever you have, whatever the conditions are, it's never going to be enough. No one ever really changes their mind unless some sort of an epiphany happens to them alone.
Yeah, it's about an personal experience, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I recently had someone in Cairns, Australia, strip search me. It was a female. Now I normally don't allow, and never have allowed, a female strip search me before because of legalities and other things. But I knew this person was looking to, you know, cause problems, so I was trying to do everything I could to show, and it wasn't enough. But I didn't go into the room alone.
Yeah,
I had
okay.
2 other men with me as witnesses that I didn't do anything inappropriate. But you just can't win. I mean, poor Madame Blavatsky, and I'm sure everybody out here may know who she is. She went through excuse the language, hell in the testings that was required upon her. A gentleman by the name of Keith Milton Reinhardt out of Seattle, Washington, who started a movement back in 1955. The strenuous, painstaking, and the time of the testing that they did on him was just, it just tears you up. And then what I've been through, and other mediums, and I understand people that want to do that, but we gotta get a grip.
Yeah.
You know,
because the work isn't about being tested; it's about the messages that come through,
what
and
comes
the love.
here.
Yeah, totally.
You know, not to undermine the monks and the shaman and stuff of India, the gurus, you know, but they're quite boring. You know, they're beautiful people. They do wonderful things, but they're a bit droll and boring in the way they do it. I'd rather go to an event where there's laughter and singing and happiness and knowledge, education coming through, which
it's
is
all balance, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but you know, but to sit there and watch a guru from India who I sat with twice in my life was, even though it was a little boring, it was amazing. You know, so don't take my wording of being boring not to go and see him. It's just a matter of, I'm not a person that can
preference.
be still for a long period of time.
Yeah,
so.
sure. Okay, thank you for your answers. Just one final question for you. What is your wish for the future?
I personally would like to see the world, or the people upon it, to live in peace the way they wish to live in peace. Because when you have that, all that's left is healing, love, togetherness, no more judgment, and you have no crime. When people are given an equal opportunity to just live, there's no crime. So you don't need police, you don't need weapons, military.
There's no fear.
There's no fear, you know, because we really honestly have nothing to fear from one another, and fear is usually generated from those that perceive they have absolute knowledge, like religion, politics, you know. There's no God that I believe it exists that says, I love you, but I'm going to send you to a fiery lake for all eternity. Yeah. But I still love you. You know, I don't buy that.
Yeah, it's punishment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We are the only ones that punish ourselves. We are the ones individually that are creating our own heaven, our own hell. And so when you leave this time period, wouldn't you rather leave with the vibration of heaven instead of the hell? Because the hell that you just experienced in life, you have to come back and face it again.
Yeah.
You know? But ultimately, just people to live in peace the way they wish to live. Because no one is born and says, you know what, I'm going to be an absolute, you know what.
Yeah.
I'm going to murder this person, I'm going to be a drug addict, I'm going to beat on someone. You know, no one says that. They want to come in and better themselves.
Totally.
So.
Okay, thank you very much for
Welcome.
your time and information, knowledge. Appreciate it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks for watching. If you'd like to know more about Mychael, just follow links down below, and we'll see you soon.